Welcome to Making It Work. I'm Jimmy. We're just getting the shop open up so we can spend a day in the shop fixing cars, making people happy, and generating sunshine all around Central Florida. That's what we do. We've been pretty busy today, yesterday. Today's not a good day yet, but it's gonna be. I got a feeling. Yesterday was a great day. I'm already at like 33 hours, and it's Wednesday morning. So that keeps going. We'll have a really good week, and that'll be great. I hope you're having a good day and a good week, doing what you do. Some of you I know that watch are mechanics, and some of you have no idea about fixing cars, but you just enjoy watching repairs, which is pretty cool, I think. People are curious to know what happens when they bring their car somewhere. So it's part of the reason I make these videos also, for the, I constantly have an itchy nose. It's part of the reason I make these videos is to help customers understand what goes on in the day of a mechanic, and to help younger mechanics kind of get their feet wet, so to speak, before they jump in the pool and see what's going on. If they want to really be part of this, I show the positives and negatives. It's reality TV, that's what it is. But it's not fake reality TV. It's not scripted. I don't do retakes. You know, some people will say, well, you missed this part where you do that. I'm like, well, the camera didn't turn on that time. I'm not gonna stop and wipe my hands down so I can touch the camera, and you know, this is how it works. But I do the best I can. I think I do a pretty good job, and a lot of you are showing your support, and I really appreciate that, because I know I'm doing something right. The channel grows every month by 400 to 600 subscribers. We're getting loads of views, doing really good. So over 10 million views, I believe. I got 2,700 videos on the channel's main page. So when I go on vacation here at the end of October, beginning of November, we'll be light on videos, but there'll be plenty of things to see on the channel's main page. And that's what we're here for today. They were asking me yesterday too about getting my stuff out of this back room so they could use it to put the scrap tires back here. So if you know anybody who wants a 4-bolt main block that needs some seasoning, actually it's been seasoned, it needs some cleanup, I'll give it to somebody if they want it. And there's some other little things back there that are mine, but half of the stuff is theirs. Only a few things are mine. I'm gonna go grab my iced coffee from Dunkin' Donuts. Thank you. And finish getting the shop open up so we can get started. What do you say? Let's learn things and have fun. Get people back on the road and keep the lights on. Stay tuned. Super clean Nissan Altima 2004. The door handles don't work, they said, but it actually is. I've worked in this car before. You might be familiar for some of you guys. It gets a love rating of like 9. Super clean. It's got some miles on it too, but the lock doesn't feel right. So something's either up at the latch or the cable or this button. So I just played with it and played with it and played with it. I didn't film that because it would have been a boring 15 minutes for you guys. I'm gonna pull this cap out of here, get the door panel off, try to see why. He's waiting too, so it's going to be interesting finding parts for a 2004 Nissan Altima, but we'll see. You never know. It's either impossible to find or it's on the help section hook at AutoZone. One of the two. These little clips sometimes will fight you. But there's not much you can do. You're going to do a little. You're going to nick them a little bit. There you go. Going to be some Phillips screws and some push pins. Should pop right off, I think. You guys find a comfortable spot to hang out, and let's see what we can do here to make it as entertaining as possible, almost captivating even. A couple of electrical connectors with awkward catches, Nissan style. It's funny, people on the my shorts about the Jeep engines and stuff, some people get mad, which that happens. They don't understand, you know, they own a Jeep and they're mad that I said something bad about them. And to me, it's not good or bad. All I can say is what I see, and all they can say is what they see. And if it's not the same, that's fine. But Jeep, I will reiterate, Jeep is not what it used to be. No mechanical thing is perfect, I've said before, but you know, when the manufacturer has 12,000 camshafts on back order, they have a problem. Same like Toyota and Ford and GM, they all apparently have different problems. So you still get what you like, and you get a good warranty, and you hope you're covered, that's all. Nothing wrong with that. There is a nut in here. Back on the topic at hand, there's a bug and there's a nut, and I should be able to pull this door panel off. I think this inner piece of plastic stays on the door, and the door panel comes off of it and leaves the handle on the door. There's going to be an electrical plug in that light, so let's get a 10mm and pop this off of here. It's not the put on a light here. It's not a difference of opinion that's an issue. Everyone has that. It's that people are so fragile when someone doesn't agree with them, and I don't know if it's emotional instability or personal insecurity or what it is, but when you get that upset and that angry that someone has a difference of opinion than you, then you need to do some self-evaluation and figure out what it is inside you that makes you so angry. If you're confident in your opinion, it shouldn't make you so angry. You should just think, well, I wish the other person could see things my way based on my experience, but they have their own perspective, right? I don't understand the anger part of it. That's why people can't talk about politics or religion or anything, because everyone's so fragile and insecure, and they get their feelings hurt so easy that you can't have a rational conversation. That's the part I don't get. Maybe this does come off with the door, by the way. Show you what we're dealing with here. This is the handle, and this is the lock. And the cable and the lock knob are in good shape. That means there's something going on in the latch. That's a bummer. That is a bummer. I'm gonna have to go a little further. I think they charge them an hour to figure this out, and we're gonna be in an hour by the time we take it apart and put it back together. So someone has been monkeying around in there. I don't remember a Nissan having this Volkswagen and Audi style setup on it, but maybe they do. It's kind of strange. Let me let them know that we're looking at probably something going on with the latch, and see if one's available before I take this apart any further. This is the lock one. And that little plastic knob is not going to pull that. It's definitely something up with that latch. It's going to need a latch. Let's see if we can get one for it.
So we don't do that.
Customer's wiper install. Probably the first time I've ever done a customer wiper install. But while they work on getting parts for this stuff, might as well. Slow today. It's going to be a slow video. Well, got a 69 Camaro out there. We'll see who gets that one. Oh, we got a Boxster out there, a Porsche Boxster. They want me to do an engine reseal on that one like I did on the Corvette. But they got it at 25 hours, and I don't think that's enough to get those engines out of there. You got to undo the convertible top stuff, and half of the work goes from behind the rear seats. Some of the work goes from outside. where the rear window would be. You got to pull that all out of the way, and then a lot of the work goes from underneath the car. You take the transmission and engine out together, and there's jugs on the cylinders. You're basically talking about it rebuilding the engine to change all the gaskets. So I'm not sure exactly what they want to do in an engine reseal on that thing, but could just put a reman engine in it. Apparently it's her husband's car and has sentimental value. But a reman engine for that car is $30,000, and the car's worth about $6,000. So we'll see what happens with those two gems.
See it. Talk that way. Bumblebee.
They got a whole new front end in it. But apparently they didn't fix the shifter or the clutch or any of that stuff. The clutch you can't get it first with the engine running, and then the shifter's like this. Rookie. Looks like a real nice car, to tell you the truth, but all aftermarket stuff, coilover shocks, and you know, all new, like you said, too. To do an alignment on this is use shims and stuff at the top. This also has sliding control arms, which is not anything available from the factory, to adjust the caster. So you set the camber with shims, you can adjust the upper control arm forward and backward for caster. That'll be interesting. It's not going to be a 1 hour alignment either, and he's got some problems with his shifter and clutch, but you know, this car has got the frame off restoration, painted floors and all that stuff. Super nice car. See if we can even align it. I'm not sure if the heads will fit. It sits pretty low. I don't think the head's going to come up that far to get to the wheel lip, though. We'll have to try it. Alright, sorry about the glare. This follows the camera. Camber's not too far off. The caster is way off, but that's going to be because these old cars, they barely had any caster, so it was less steering effort. They wanted you comfortable. But these aftermarket parts are designed to have way more caster. So what I would probably do is try to get it to 4.2 on this side and then set the toe. So he's talking to him now to let him know it's not a basic 1 hour alignment. It might take 2, it might take 3 hours. And we'll see what happens if we go any further with it. It's an alignment check, unless he approves 2 or 3 hours labor. Alright, this here, 69 Camaro. It's going to get an alignment on this here Hunter machine by this here mechanic. You want a light? Alright. That's what we're dealing with. These are 3/4. Some of you kids would call it 19 millimeter. And then I should be able, you can see this cutout here. If I slide the arm back, it brings the upper ball joint back, which raises caster. Because you got 2 ball joints. More caster. If you want to change camber, camber goes like this. Positive is towards you, negative's away. Caster, if you're sitting in the driver's seat, away is negative, right? So that's how I remember it. Let's get some tools and get to work. Stop flapping. Uh-oh, that might be 11/16. What? Yeah. 19 sloppy on there. I was wrong, which that's not the first time today. All right, now my evil plan is, now that I got the right size wrench, is loosen these enough to move the arm but not move the shim, because the camber's pretty good. And then I'm going to pry between the mount and the arm with my baby pry bar and try not to scratch anything. I mean, this is not mint. It can be touched up, I mean, but the car is pretty nice. So I definitely don't want to give it back to him not as nice as it came in. I just want his alignment correct when I'm done. Nothing else messed up. I definitely, like I said, I want to slide the arm back and get it just loose enough to be able to do that. Let's see here. Do this. I should be able to get a live reading that'll give me an idea where I'm at. If it'll move, I might have to get a big pry bar. Maybe I'm overestimating how easy this will be to slide. Yeah, I think the big one's gonna have to go. I'm gonna step off the machine to let it show me where it's at. We got 2/10. I need like almost a degree. So let's see here. I don't see a better place to pry than that. Especially because it's a blind area, you can't really see. If I do chip some paint on the frame. I might need to jack it up and take some weight off the suspension, I think. Taking the weight off seems to have helped. And get these snugged up. Double check our measurements. And if it's good, we'll set the toe. I also added these 16th shims on both sides to get a little more negative camber. I don't think 0.5 was a good look for a performance Camaro. Now we tell the machine we let it down. We got to bounce the car a little bit still too. And there's no way the camber would have got more positive. Let's remeasure the caster and see where we're at. That's a little better. Now it's also got like the coolest tie rod ends ever. I got to set the toe, which I set the toe a little bit because it was so far off that it was messing with my caster measurements and I had to redo everything a couple times. But to make it pleasurable for my viewing audience, I didn't film all that. But it's why we charge extra for these alignments. Now, with this custom aluminum turnbuckle deal, which I actually think they're kind of cool, but it's got a Heim joint on this side and a standard tie rod end on this side. It's not that big a deal, except these tend to make noise and wear out faster than the conventional ones. They're usually used for racing or high maintenance applications, but I think a lot of people just think they're cool and they don't realize how fast they wear out. Anyway, that's not my concern. My concern is to get that toe out a little bit more and make sure the wheel's straight. It's a little, I don't know how the camber got worse when I made it better. I hope the head didn't move. I might have to recompensate it when I'm done, just to see where the alignment's at. Again, one more time. Sometimes when you climb up there to do adjustments, you bump that head a little bit and everything's out of whack. So we may do that. We'll see. We'll set the toe and we'll see where we're at. Barely out too, but these things want to roll and turn and The inside and outside don't want to agree. Now to tighten them without letting the tie rod ends go the wrong direction they want, you got to hold the inside piece. And I want to try to get this angle and the inner tie rod ends angle similar. So let's see what we got to do to make that happen. I think this kind of snuck itself up as I was working here. Yeah. So now I should be able to turn this. I don't want it bound up. One more wheel. Of course, I took the lock off the steering wheel and this happened, but we're gonna, I wish it was an automatic. I could just start it up and run it, but I got up with a manual. I got to get in there and push the clutch and start it up and see how straight the wheel is before I am going to recompensate it too, just to make sure my camber and caster is acting a little weird, and these wheels and these heads don't really like each other much. Feels like they can move, but they're tight, but they're not. I like them locked on. Like I said too, when you're climbing up and down here, you bump that thing and everything's off a degree. And it doesn't take much. I mean, you can literally hit it with your hand and change all the measurements. So we'll do one more compensation when I think we're done to verify. I don't know where my Nissan went, but don't worry, there's more where that came from. You got Nissans, Chryslers, and Fords everywhere. The heck? Oh, and a Camaro. GM junk. We got a rack and pinion for the old Dodge Ram. I said, I hope you didn't get one from Dorman. He said, no, it's A1 Cardone. It's Dorman. So it was the cheapest one. So that's why. We're gonna make it work, baby. That's what we do. We're getting really good at it too. Electrical connectors, steering coupler, a couple tie rod ends. Comes right out of there. It's easy. I'm gonna jack it up, take the wheels off, but first I'm gonna do the stuff back here because I gotta jack it up from the arms. I'm gonna stay a little further back. This is from Monday, in case you didn't see that one. The rack and pinion has an internal failure code. Got power and ground. It's all one piece. It's easy. It's expensive though. I think it's $2,000 for the part, plus like 2 hours labor. So since it's easy, that shouldn't be too big of a deal, right? Let's see. What's holding this? A 12 or a 13, it feels like. Yeah, should be good. The steering shaft should. Oh man. Wow. There's a big threaded bushing in the rack, and the bolts are pretty long. These 2 bolts, that's what holds it in. So it really is pretty easy. The only question or concern I might have is programming. I'm not sure if that's going to come ready to accept the VIN or if it's plug and play. I didn't look. You can't find that kind of information if you really look hard for it. But I didn't even know we were fixing it till 5 minutes ago. So I haven't looked. Don't want to leave your weather pack connector behind. And if you got a weather pack connector, that means you probably got the plastic isolator too. So I got to get that isolator out of there. And that pushes the weather pack connector in. The weather pack goes in first, then the plastic sleeve. And that helps lock these pins from pushing out. So you definitely want it in there. That's gonna work. Now where do I put the rest of those tools? Sorry about about the fans right here next to us. So it's right above my shiny head. I'm tempted to turn it off so the audio is better, but it's so nice and cool. It's like 85 today. And with the fan, it's real nice. Take the tower end loose first, and it's easier to get it off there. Fast and furious. Why would you want a BMW to sound like that? You guys hear it over the fan? I apologize. Break the other side loose. Get these out of here. I think I can unscrew a tie rod end from one side and fish it out, but we're going to find out, I'll tell you that much, right after the Fast and Furious and the fan noise and all that nonsense goes away. I was going to pop right out of there. Fought battle. We came out on top again. You don't have to bother counting the tie rod ends because you got to count your nuts when you take them off. Gravity check. Congratulations, it's a boy. Take a break, act like we're 30 again, go back at it. Woo! It's like a military press. Then a gym, you know what that is? When you're seated, instead of like a bench press you lay flat, a military press you're sitting up. That's what that was. That rack's like 100 pounds, no joke. Maybe 85. The older I get, the heavier they feel. It might be 30. Now, reverse my ratchet before I put it in there. Oh yeah, that's good. beat it lift. The pinch bolt makes it so you can only get that on one way. And you gotta let the lift down to do it. All right. And tighten those main bolts. I'm gonna do the electrical plugs last. Get all the tie rod ends on and everything. If it don't dodge, ram it. I'm gonna plug this in. I'm gonna use the Ansel DS300. I haven't used it in a while. It needs some love. Allegedly, Dorman says turn the key on for 8 seconds and then turn the key back off. And then it says turn the key on, check for codes. You might have to initialize the steering, I think, something about that. We'll see how it goes. I just need the keys. Can't do it without the keys. That's unfortunate. Wait. Might as well boot up Mr. Ansel. I think I might have to hold it. Welcome! That's so pleasant. Whoa, whoa, easy wind. Fire this thing up. Now we do have a bunch of other lights and other problems, but we have power steering. Isn't that thing a beauty? Look at that son of a gun, huh? Sorry if your ears were close to the screen. Oil change required, ABS on, check engine on, traction light on, TPMS light blinking, brake light on. This had internal module failures for the ABS as well as for the steering. But their concern was having steering. Look at that, we have it. I gotta look on the paperwork, see if we're doing alignment too. I sure hope we are. Of course, I tightened everything down. I never do suspension work without tightening everything. So my conscience is clear if we're not. I know I've already tightened it all. I hate having to try to remember whether I did or not, so I always do it. You guys might know that. If you've been around a while, I don't walk away from a suspension bolt until I've tightened it. I don't care if I got to loosen it and tighten it 4 times while I'm doing an alignment. Forgetting a bolt is way more important to me than the few seconds it takes to loosen it again or whatever, you know. That's how I look at it. Automatically search. Maybe some people have a memory like an elephant and they won't forget and they don't have to worry about it. I have seen mechanics, I've worked with mechanics, they'll have every bolt loosened on the suspension when they do an alignment and go back and tighten them all when they're done. I'm like, well, not only is that sketchy because they could move, but if you forget one, if you loosen 10 bolts and you tighten 9, does that make sense? I don't know. I'm flapping while this works. I like the way the scan tool is laid out. Have I told you that? This is a little less expensive than the other two I normally use as well. Okay, BCM, radio frequency, anti-lock, internal failure, airbag, TPMS, electronic power steering, lost comm with ECM, lost comm with steering control modules stored. We will clear the DTCs. Might want me to turn the key off and back on. That's done. Okay. Flapping the gums, flapping the gums. Anti-lock brake, internal failure, airbag code. Steering control module, normal. That's nice. I'm going to turn the key off and back on again. Start the engine. We have power steering. Let's rescan. If I get no steering codes, I'm going to, boom, no steering codes. Let me check on the alignment on this thing. We'll see if we're done with this or not. I know the boss wants his Ferrari done now, they just told me. I said, well, you haven't let me work on it. If you have all the parts and you tell me to work on it, I will. Do whatever you need. Anyway, let's come back, see what happens. It's going to be a surprise. All right, I do have to do an alignment and an oil change on the old Raminator, but they said, can you take a look at Mildred's Chrysler Sebring first? Her air is not getting cold. And she's an older lady, God bless her, sweetheart, but she doesn't know how to work her AC, I'm thinking. I feel kind of bad for her, but I don't even want to. I'm going to tell them not to even charge her for checking it, because it's 40 degrees, 39 degrees, ice cold. Store photo, yep. She had the temperature about here and had the recirc off. So the coldest it'll get is like 58 degrees or so when you're out in the heat of the day. That's not cold enough. So if you turn that down, it'll get colder, but it's still bringing in fresh air from outside, which is a lot harder for it to pull down to get to the temperature that you'd like. So if you recirculate the air, then it recools the air in the cabin that's already recooled, plus a little bit leaks in from small areas that's not supposed to be ventilated, but the cabin is always vented somewhat. This reduces how much it's vented, so you're mostly recycling air that's already been cooled, and it can get really cold. And that's how it got down to 39 degrees. So nothing wrong with this AC. You just got to twist your knobs to a happy place. That's all. Oh, I guess I'm not going to get any alignment rack. Joe's probably doing an AC check on the alignment rack. He loves the alignment rack. That's okay. We're not in a rush. Let's button this one up and see what else we can. We'll do something else. Don't worry. Got my Dodge Ram oil filter tool, and I want to show you something cool with our nice new rack we got. Look where they put the oil filter. Now, what do you think's going to happen to our beautiful new rack and pinion with the wings of death on it? Could cast it right on there. They're proud of it. I think that's a new housing. That must be one of the things that goes wrong on them, I guess. That's fine, don't worry about it. It's designed to do that. That's a $2,000 funnel. If you don't clean that off real good, they come back saying my new rack and pinion's leaking oil. Ready for an alarm. It's 4 alignments today. I only filmed 2 of them. I didn't want it to be too repetitive. Alright, this has eccentrics, very eccentric cams. Not like wealthy billionaire weirdo type eccentrics, but offset from center. I adjusted the back a little bit, and I said, oh man, I want to show my friend. I adjusted this one a little bit, and I'm going to adjust this one the other way. It's So the camber is the same because it was 0.1 to 0 was going back and forth. So I turned it enough to get to 0.3, and then I'll go the other way to get my 0.3 back out of it, and my caster should get green. Does that make sense? What I'm doing is I'm moving the arm to move the ball joint front to back without it going in and out. If you move both of them in, you'll change the camber. If you move one opposite of the other, the same amount, you'll change caster without changing the camber. So this adjusts the nut, the setting, and this locks it. So I'm going to take my 24 millimeter big old mountain, I think it's a mountain, yeah, monster. I think I had to change the name to Mountain, Monster Energy. See them? I don't know. This is
the white front is the wood, but it's not like wood. The white one's so much fucking noise.
see what I'm doing here. If you watch it on the machine, you'll see I'm moving a little less than I did that time. Tighten my lock nut. I gotta hold the adjustment while I tighten the lock nut, because otherwise the lock nut wants to turn the adjustment again, and that's no fun having to redo it. So now we're perfect, other than a little bit of toe, and the toe is what I knew I was going to have to do because we had that all apart. These inner tie rods are a different size than the original ones. 2 degrees is a lot, so I've loosened the nut a couple of turns. We'll see if that's enough. A quarter turn at a time. Not going to be enough. We'll go some more. The threads must be pretty fine. I turned it like 3 turns already. What I did is on the old rack, I counted the threads. There was 8 threads inside the nut on the old rack on the left, and 6 threads inside of the nut on the right side on the old rack. So apparently this one is totally different. I'm glad they're doing alignment. I shoved it out of the way, bro. Oh yeah. Nobody likes a bragger. One more of those, and this thing is like the Hulk. What I gotta do now, make sure our steering wheel is nice and straight. Little road test. Man, that was a nice one. The only hard part of that job is how heavy that rack is. Other than that, that was a good job. I think the diag, the rack, and the alignment's 4 hours. Took around 2.5 or so. Now that is a ram alignment right there. All green. Well, looks like that's going to do it for today. We're out here by the noisy fan because I find that seems to be the theme for the channel. Sketchy audio and lots of fans. Because it's hot in Central Florida. Well, I got to mess with that Fusion Hybrid eventually here too, but she's not in a rush for it apparently. So we'll mess with it a little bit when we have some time. Hope you enjoyed today's video. It was another good day. Doing pretty good this week. Of course, we got a few cars that haven't been picked up yet, but they'll be taken care of by Friday. I hope you'll torque the like button before you head out. Subscribe if you're new and you just found the channel. Torque the like button. Check out the Amazon store. I'm just gonna, you know what I'll do? instead of going over all that stuff over and over again, I'll just put it in the description below every video. How about that? I don't even have to mention it that way. Because you guys know by now, I get about 1,500 to 2,500 views per day in a shop video. And out of 27,000 subscribers. So I think a lot of my shorts gain subscribers, but they don't watch my day in the shop video. So I'm going to mention my day in the shop videos in my shorts. What do you think about that? I'm smarter than I look. Thanks for watching today, guys. Hope I see you in another video, because you're awesome.